I'm at a place where I've realized who the I am, and nobody can tell me different. So if I can trigger you, I'm powerful. I take that energy and I transmute that. I define who I am, not you and your angry little comments.
Welcome back to another episode of Women of Tomorrow. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by and clicking on this video. Women of Tomorrow is a platform dedicated to women positioning themselves for longevity. So do us a favor, comment, like, share, and subscribe. It helps us so much. And stay tuned. Sheneka, Miss Adams.
Yeah, Sheneka.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I am shooketh because literally have I've probably followed you and been tapping in with you for a couple years now.
Okay.
And I love it. I love what you represent. I love what you're doing for what you've done for yourself, how you have I won't say reinvented, but just transformed, you know, and just evolved, and what you're doing to help women to see their potential.
Yes, absolutely.
And to see where they are playing with themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Playing with their lives. And I want to get right into it, but one of the things I was on my mind is that were you a fan of Kevin Samuels?
I wouldn't say a fan, but there were points that were made. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people have their riffs about it. I get it. Me, I don't never take anything personal. I'm looking for the message.
Okay.
Separate the person. So I know there was a lot of things he said that people didn't like, but at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm here for the message.
Yeah.
And I found some things that I liked, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's it.
How have you always been the person to be able to separate the message from the messenger? Like, have you, because I feel like I in times have been triggered, been like, they can't tell me nothing. They haven't even figured out, figured out this. Now I am a person that can see the message without worrying about who brought it to me. Right. But have you always been that way?
No, I haven't. And that takes growth.
Yeah.
And, you know, it takes you also dropping your ego. You know, I don't judge anybody. People change. People say things and you don't like it. That's just the way that it is. Yeah. So I oftentimes just, I guess I can say, one day I just kind of thought to myself, you know, in order to hear the truth and hear the messages, you have to do that because you're only holding yourself back and you're limiting yourself. So, no, I didn't always think like that.
Yeah. And now you're just like, okay, in order to grow, I know that I have to do this.
Yeah. Anytime anything is super popular or going crazy in the media, just do the opposite. Okay? Just do the opposite. Don't follow what the crowd is saying. Just do the opposite. So find what you seek in that, and that's it.
What about when people don't know their own voice?
Right.
When they can't distinguish their thoughts from the crowd? Like, what is the process of, you know, finding your own voice and knowing that it's your own voice?
You know, again, I think a lot of times it's just dropping your ego too and realizing, you know, you don't have to agree with everything, but you also don't have to react. You know, it's difficult to say, kind of, you know, I don't know. I just feel like as I'm on my journey, my spiritual journey, my inner journey, it's just something that kind of happened. Yeah. Like one day I just grew up and I was like, you know what, I have to look at things from a different perspective. And you have to have an open mind. A lot of people don't. And they keep their minds closed and they react to everything because they're still thinking with their human self. So you got to evolve past that so that you can see things for what they are.
When you say human self.
Yeah.
You mean just like the ego, the flesh?
Yeah, the ego, the flesh. Yes, ego, the flesh. You know, for me, it's about reaching my higher self always. And that calls for me to drop my ego to do that. And that's difficult for a lot of people to do
Yeah.
because you have to leave all the human stuff behind if you truly want to evolve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we often think that the ego is the ego tries to protect us,
Yeah.
tries to keep us from experiencing any
Yeah.
embarrassment or hurt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it tends to kind of backfire
It
at times.
does. It does because it wants to stop you from doing that. It's just your own self fighting with yourself. So naturally, it's going to be difficult, but you have to push past that. And it's not easy. It's a
Yeah.
journey. Like today, people, I was on live and people were like, okay, when do you do this and when do you stop? You never stop. It's a continuous journey. So there is no destination for it. There's
Yeah.
so much to learn about yourself. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have so much to talk about. Okay. You were saying in order to grow, you had to just grow up one day. How did you grow up? Like, what was your upbringing like, or your childhood?
No, I grew up actually, poor. I grew up in the hood,
In Atlanta?
No, in Athens. I'm from
Okay,
Athens,
okay.
Georgia. So I grew up there. Like, it wasn't easy. It was tough. Like, especially being a girl in that environment. I talk about that a lot. Being a girl, a black girl in that environment, you can't truly be yourself because it's predatorial. It's also not just from the male standpoint, but from the women too, because there's people that are always trying to dim your light. So you kind of suppress yourself. And then one day, you just have to let all that go so that you can evolve. But that's not easy because when so many things are against you, when so many people are trying to stop you from figuring out who you are, it's difficult to overcome that. But you have to keep pushing forward. You have to.
And you just had, because there's so many people that come from, like, even in the same families, there's people that had the same parents, same household, and end up being so different.
Yes.
Did everyone in your family decide, hey, I'm going to move away from Athens, I'm going to pursue my dreams, did they do that?
Not necessarily. And I'm not saying that to talk bad about my family. I love my family for who they are. No, I think that some of us are what we would like to call the black sheeps or the star seeds that come in to change the paradigm. Because a lot of us were born into traumatic situations. A lot of us were born in those environments. And so oftentimes a lot of people that feel that change within them, they stop identifying with a lot of things, even their own family. It's because you're sent here to change the paradigm. And that work is not freaking easy. Excuse my language, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and it's going to be tough. But it's that way I feel like for me to just keep pushing forward. This is just what the journey requires, but that can change at any time. And so I changed my own paradigm. I'm not the same person I was. I don't think the same, and I've evolved past that. And you have to do that in order to figure out who you are. You can't stay in victim mode. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim of my circumstances.
Wow.
I've moved past all that.
And how old were you when it was like,
6.
Really?
I was 6 years old.
You remember it
I
vividly.
remember that. I do. It's like this light came on, and I don't know. I just became very aware of like everything, and I was like, this is not for me. Like, no, like I have to get out of here, and whatever it takes, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't. I didn't have that type of support. It just wasn't there. I love my mom for everything that she sacrificed and done for me, but there wasn't no, okay, here's money for college. Okay, here's what you need to do for life. Like, a lot of us are not taught that. You kind of just get thrown into the world and you have to figure it out. And even that is challenging, but you still have to persist forward.
And I know we're always like apologizing when I feel like often we apologize for speaking our truth because sometimes our truth can highlight, I guess, someone else's lack of support. Even with my mom, I finally, and I don't even know if I haven't said this to her, but for so long, I just wanted her approval and acceptance. And finally, I just realized, Mommy, I love you. I respect you. I
Right.
admire you. You're great. But when I look at your life, I don't want your life.
Right.
So that means that it's okay for me to choose differently.
You just went through the stages of healing. It's compassion, understanding, forgiveness, and that's for you. That's exactly what you just did. You transmuted that situation. That's what I tell people all the time. Separate the person from the situation. Like, I've even had to do that. Look at your mother for who she is as a woman, what she might have went through, things that she might be struggling with, and try to find compassion and understanding in that.
Yeah.
Once you do that, then you can move on to forgiveness. And that's for you to transmute that energy that you're feeling
Yeah.
for your own journey. So that's exactly what you just did.
Kudos to me, because I mean it's a struggle. It is a struggle.
It's tough.
But that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. And again, that's not easy, because to forgive people for things that you may feel like, well, they don't deserve my forgiveness. It's not for them, it's for you.
So
Understand
you cannot
that.
hold on to it.
You can't hold on to it, because all it's going to do is keep you low, keep your vibration low, and you won't be able to transform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That brings me just to another point. But before that, anyone who doesn't know who you are, what is your professional title? What are your Renaissance woman? What are all the things that are under your belt right now that you're currently, operating?
Yeah, I would like to look at myself as an inspiration to women. I'll just say that, because I've been able to take myself from a dark place and rise myself up. And that in itself, is something to be proud of. And all I want to do is be an inspiration for myself first, and just for everybody. And so that's what I am. Of course, I own businesses, a hair company, S. Adams Collection.
S. Adams, yes.
And then I have, Simply Sheneka. So that is my blog, where I am pretty much using myself and my experiences to help other women transform their lives. And I feel like that's what I've been called to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Because you did it for yourself, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I want to help other women.
Right. And naturally, I just feel like I was called to do that. And so that's just what I do. And I enjoy it.
The reason why I asked about Kevin Samuels is because I don't look at you anything like that.
Right.
But I do look at, if we're thinking about the sector, like
Yeah.
okay, you are helping women,
Right.
and he was doing his best to help men,
Right.
And so, but when you do that, when you put yourself out there and you speak like so candidly about, you're standing up for yourself, you're standing up for other women, it's like black and white, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all need to do this. It's no sugarcoating anything.
Right.
You put yourself in the limelight to be criticized.
Yes.
I
yeah.
noticed that you always have a moderator on your live.
Girl, it gets crazy. It do.
How do you? I'm a sensitive soul, and I'm
So
not.
am I.
And I'm not. Okay, so I'm not. So maybe it's a different word. I am not prepared for the fight that would come with.
There is no fight.
Okay, so you don't look at it as a fight.
No.
How do you? So you never. Are you ever triggered by the random
I used
attacks?
to be.
Okay.
I used to be, but again, it's just like what we were discussing earlier. I got to a place where I'm at a place where I've realized who the fuck I am, and nobody can tell me different. So
love
if
that.
I can trigger you, I'm powerful. I take that energy and I transmute that. And thank you. Please keep giving it to me, but I am going to block your ass.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't trigger me, because I define who I am, not you and your angry little comments.
Wow.
So,
And
who
you're able to
cares?
see that. You're able to see where it's coming from. You don't have to validate every little
No.
thing someone.
Absolutely not. Again, you got to look at it just from the perspective of people who do that are triggered because you represent something that they obviously want to be. And it's not anything physical. It's a light, an energy that they wish that they can possess, a confidence. I mean, I'm in my divinity. And a lot of people want to be in that place. That's why they feel lost. I've discovered that. I'm still discovering that. And people can recognize, you don't have to beat your chest and be like, hey, look at me, I've changed.
Yeah.
People will see.
They'll just
Just
see
keep doing you. And that's it. And that triggers people. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I understand. I would be too. I mean, look at me.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I'm
yeah.
just like, yeah, but you're able to just take it in one ear and put it
Out
in,
the other.
out
Like,
the other.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I probably need to schedule a one-on-one
Yeah.
about that, because you do one-on-one girl chat.
I do.
How does that work? They just book your time,
Yes,
and then you just
on
have
my-
a private call.
Yeah, so on my website, you go on there, my times are available. You select your time. There's a questionnaire, and you fill that out, and we go from there. And we talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. It doesn't have to just be dating and relationships. And we go from there. Like, it's a safe, private, confidential place. Like, women, we heal in circles. You know, we help each other heal. And again, I feel like I've been called to do that. And people feel very safe with me. They trust me. And I'm changing lives in my own little way. I'm making a difference in my own little way. And that's where I find peace. That's where my richness comes from.
I love that.
I'll always be rich because I'm genuinely here to help other people.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we need it.
We do.
We absolutely need it.
We do.
And you have a very unique space, because I just don't see any other women with the package, the whole package. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
I just don't see it out there, So I'm like, I love this. I wanted to talk about boundaries.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's like such a buzzword now. Boundaries, set boundaries, boundaries.
Right.
And it's absolutely needed. But I think it's something that's just really hard for people to set.
Right.
Do you think it's because people, or I'll speak for myself, I'm definitely learning boundaries.
Okay.
I'm putting them in place. I've had to, and I love the boundaries. But I think in my close circle, it's where it's harder for me to create the boundaries.
That's
because
where they're
I'm so
needed the
emotionally
most.
connected. Okay,
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard because I'm so easily guilted.
Right.
And what do you tell your clients or just your friends about boundaries?
You just have to do it. Like, I don't sugarcoat anything because it's simple. You just have to do it, and it's uncomfortable. I know because I've suffered from that myself. It's difficult, especially with the people closest to you, but you have to understand that your boundaries are there to protect you. So that relationships can stay healthy, because just like you have boundaries, so does the other person. And those things are there to keep us on track, to keep us both protected. Don't do things I don't like, vice versa. And so you just have to do it.
You just
have to say, hey, this is my boundary. If you love me and you respect me, you will honor that.
So what about when, because there was a girl this was a few years ago, and she was attempting, we were like building a friendship, whatever. I met her through a mutual friend.
Ooh,
I met
honey.
her through a mutual friend, and it turned out that, okay, I'll dig into it a little bit. She was married.
Okay.
And she would talk to me about her husband, now ex-husband. Imagine that. Talk to me about her husband and say, she would just vent to me. And it was pretty much all negative. And she would just say, he's miserable. He complains all the time. He doesn't want me to do this or that. And so I never talked bad about him. I just listened to her and I encouraged her. Then I think we were out somewhere and something happened with a mutual friend, and she told me something about that friend, and I just kind of pulled back because I'm like, I don't like what you're telling me about this friend, and it's making me uncomfortable. And I was like, I don't even know if that's true. And then she was like, well, my husband saw it and he said da da da. And so I said to her, I said, why would I listen to your husband? You've just spent
Right.
the last 6 months telling me how you don't even value his opinion,
Right.
but in this scenario, you want me to value his opinion.
Right.
And she was very upset and told me, you need to get some thick skin. If you ever want to have real friendships, you need to learn and not be so sensitive. And so she made me feel like I felt like in that moment I created a boundary.
Yes,
Like,
you did.
I'm not listening to this. I'm not accepting just because,
Right.
But then she tried to turn it on me and say that I was too sensitive and that I wouldn't be able to build a friendship.
No, that again, see, it's not easy and it may not be accepted well. You have to understand that too. And sometimes putting boundaries in place could cause relationships to end. So it happens.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know because I've had to do it. And fortunately, those people are no longer in my life.
And you're
that's
okay. And you're okay with it.
Yeah.
You're okay with it now, and have you always been, or was there like a period of mourning or grief when you have to let people go, or
Of
when
course
you go
it
back
is.
and forth?
Naturally, if you care for them and you have feelings, I'm
Yeah.
not a robot, but
Yeah.
I did. But I pushed past that because I got to do what's best for me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I just really think that's empowering, because that doing what's best for you, gosh, because I feel like it's empowering because we all need to be doing that so that we can even be healthy enough to extend ourselves outside to
Yeah.
other people. But that brings me to the point of selfishness,
Okay.
and how often people will say that you're selfish when you are focused on yourself.
Of course they are. Because, again, when you put boundaries in place, the people that want to continuously cross those are going to be triggered. So, absolutely, you should be selfish. Why not? Why not? I mean, I don't have to extend myself to you if you cannot respect me. So, if you look at that as selfish, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just accept that. That's okay.
And so selfishness for you, the word selfish is not a negative
It's
thing.
not a negative thing. I always tell women, I'm kind, but I'm not nice.
Yes.
Because niceness to me is too close to people pleasing. I'm kind in my heart because I have empathy. That's different. But don't expect me to be nice and let you walk all over me, and people have a problem with that. Oh, you're selfish, or you're mean, or you're a bitch, or whatever. Yeah, I am. Okay. Again, because being a bitch is energy. Being selfish and being assertive is the action. Two different things. So the bitchiness is the energy I'm carrying. Don't F with me.
Yeah.
And my
We say fuck
assertiveness
around and find out.
Right, you are. And my boundaries and my assertiveness and my selfishness is the action. Like, no.
And it's
Absolutely.
really it's self-preservation, right?
Absolutely. We have to preserve ourselves, especially Black women, because there's so much expected of us. We're expected to give without receiving much in return. And so this is why I tell Black women specifically, absolutely be selfish. Say no. Rest. Okay? You don't have to be of service to the world. That's why I say don't jump up and join any fights. Say your prayer and keep it moving. Preserve yourself. It's your time. It's your life. You don't have to give that away to other people just for what? No.
Yes. The
No.
the war on Black women.
Yeah.
You said specifically the humbling
The humbling of
of
Black
Black women.
Yeah.
What is that about?
Just people not feeling comfortable with seeing Black women transmute. Again, because the conditioning in society is Black women look like this, they do this, they ghetto, they ratchet, they're hypersexual, they're this, and that. And when you decide you don't want to play that game and do something different with your life, people want to try to humble you. And it's not just about that. It's just when you are confident in yourself, when you're doing things on your own terms, people want to try to humble you, especially being a beautiful woman, and being confident and successful. People always are trying to humble you. So that's why oftentimes you'll see a lot of successful women, they don't have a lot of big circles or a lot of friends because it's challenging. It's challenging. So unfortunately, that's the way the world is. And that's why I also tell women to preserve themselves and be careful who you're aligning yourself with, because you have to protect yourself. Because people don't want to see you shine.
People don't want to see.
They don't.
It's so hard. I mean, it's evident to me that is true.
Yeah.
It's just, I have a hard time just like accepting that in my brain, because it's like, I don't feel that way,
Right.
So how but I guess it's just from personal trauma,
It is. A lot of people are dealing with things within themselves. So what somebody does to you has nothing to do with you. I say this, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but there is no real solidarity with women. It's not. Like, it's not. And it's not, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Naturally, the resources, because we operate, a lot of us, in a scarcity mindset. We feel like resources are low. So I will step over you to get whatever, and fine, do what you want. But that's why you got to protect yourself, protect, your life and what you're trying to have, because other people will try to mess with that and mess it up for you.
They'll try to mess it up.
They will.
And I love that you say that, because baby, I've been feeling like, I've heard people say, I've heard specifically people say, I hate when girls say, I get along better with guys. And they're like, those girls, I don't like girls like that, because they just don't know how to be friends with girls. And I'm just like, I've had the most drama with female friends that have just not been who they say they were, not seen me for who I've been to them. And for you to say that, for you to speak that out clearly, someone might think that, oh, she's one of those girls that just doesn't know how to be friends. But no, you are a girl's girl, because you've dedicated your time and your life to helping women. So you clearly love women.
I do.
But you're able to see the epidemic.
Absolutely. I mean, I deal with it all the time, just like we were talking about earlier with the haters and different things like that. I've always dealt with that, even in childhood. And at first it used to bother me and it used to hurt, but again, it is what it is. Like, I understand that a lot of people are hurt, so they're lashing out at me. And so I just protect myself from it. I don't have a lot of friends, because a lot of people I've had in my life have definitely done things to betray me. And once trust is broken, it's hard to get that back.
Yeah.
And so, listen, you just have to protect yourself. The higher you go, the more bullshit's going to come your way. Just realize it, because your light is triggering those people. That's what it is.
What is how much time do you give people? Like, how they say, okay, just try to work on it. Try to see, what is the process that you do? Like, when you have a friend, or you're developing a friendship, or maybe even it's a friendship that you've had for a while that's starting to kind of like fall apart. What is your process of deciding to let go or to keep trying?
Now I'm more blunt with it, because you give me weird energy, I'm cutting you off. But I'm also still understanding, because I understand that people are not perfect. It really just depends on what's going on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, if I can't trust you, if I feel like you're a monitoring spirit, and if the energy feels...
you said a monitoring spirit?
Yes. A lot of people are monitoring spirits. They're just in your life to monitor what you got going on, just to make sure you ain't doing too good, or if you're doing bad, so that they can monitor what you have going on. That's exactly what they are. They don't...
Do they have time for anything else if they're doing that?
Yeah, they do, but they're there just to monitor you. That's it.
And you think the monitoring also involves, like, hoping some of your energy or light will drip onto them?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it's about. And so they sit around and they're just keeping tabs on you. And people like that, to me, are dangerous. I keep them away. I'm very intuitive, and I can sense things. I can read people very well. And if I feel like that about you, I'm going to cut you off. And
Does
you're
the
going to
cutoff
know.
look like a block? It's like a straight up block.
It is. I don't want weird people around me. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm always coming and I'm genuine because it's in my heart. And if I'm with you, I'm for you. You never have to worry about me doing anything to hurt you or backstab you.
Yeah.
I expect people to be the same way. Unfortunately, they're not. And once I figure out you're not, you have to go.
You have
You got to
to
go. You have to go.
And so is it lonely?
I'll say the journey, it can be, because the more you tap into your divinity, the less you associate with a lot of things, the less you'll associate with people, because they're not growing or they're here to try to take you off your path. So, yeah, it can be in the sense. I don't look at it like that. I'm
Okay.
doing the work.
Okay.
I'm doing the work. You know, I have goals and things in life. I'm here to understand myself, to figure out the tools of life. So I don't have to come back here because I'm not.
Yeah, no.
Maybe that's too deep, but yeah.
No, when you say, well, that is deep as hell. When you say come back here, that I'm assuming it's just like a soul that comes back to
finish up the work. I think this is my last cycle here. So
Really?
I'm really just trying to focus and unlock the tools, the key to who I am. That's what it's all about. And I know that's why I'm triggering so many people. I don't trust a lot of people, and you shouldn't, honestly. and that's not a bad thing. Again, it's just I disrupt people. I really do. And I don't say that in a cocky way or that I'm better, because
aware.
I'm aware. I do, because I'm evolving so fast and disassociating from a lot, and people can't handle that because they are not keeping up with me, and I can't stop my progress for you. I have to keep going. And so although, you know, it could be a lot to deal with at times, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is powerful because it really, really, really is.
Yeah.
Because it is, it's a part of me that I'm working on, and being able to let go.
You have to let go. Let go so you can transform. You have to.
It's so challenging, I think, because I go back and forth, and I don't know, maybe that's the Libra in me. They say, like, we're always trying to find balance. And I'm always, I can see it this way, but I can also see it this way.
You got to see it for what it is.
Got to see it for what it is.
What is it? That's what it is.
And I think that so basically when you say see it for what it is, it really is look at the present reality. Is that what you mean?
Yes, look at it for what it is right here, right now.
Not what it used to be.
Not
how it started off.
Right.
Not what it could be if things were ideal. But just what it is.
Yes.
And make a decision based on what it is.
Right.
And so if I happen to be wrong, right, then I just deal with those consequences and learn from it.
Yes.
Versus trying to avoid being wrong
Absolutely.
and then just staying stuck.
Absolutely. It's all about making those choices and figuring out your path. Like, you got to make the choices so you know where to go. And you learn from it. That's what you do. Don't beat yourself up about it. You have to be your biggest cheerleader in this life, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Yeah, no one has the capacity. So if a friend of yours stole a pair of shoes, is that a cutoff?
Oh, yes. A girl did that to me before, actually. Funny story. Like, when I was very young, like 20, I had this roommate, and I was going out of town. And, you know, she would come in my bathroom, use it, whatever. I didn't care. So I was leaving to go out of town. I had to turn back around and come back and get something. I come in the house, go in my room. She's in there. I didn't say nothing. It's cool. But I walk by, and I'm like, are those my leggings? And at that time, I used to initial my stuff. It's just some hood stuff, you know, whatever. Just some hood little stuff. I initialed my stuff. And she's like, no, it's not. I yanked the pants down, and there were my initials, S.A. She couldn't say anything. She just looked dumbfounded.
Oh, my God.
And that was the end of that.
Wow.
And she had them on with no underwear. I was like, you can just keep them, girl.
So that was that ain't right. But no, that happened to me.
No, you went through my stuff. See, the thing is, you violated me. You went through my things. You had to go digging.
You were digging.
Right. So that means
you
you've
had
been
your
doing
eye
that.
on-
You've had your eye on that. That means you've been doing that. I don't trust you.
Because, yeah, why are you around? Why are we roommates? Why are we friends if you can't just ask me to borrow a pair?
Just say, hey, girl, let me borrow. Like, I don't care. It's just clothes.
But now it's like, no, you violated me,
You
and
violated
I don't trust
me.
you.
I don't trust you. You have to go.
So that's so that was a red flag that it happened to me. A friend of mine stole a pair of shoes. It's so crazy because, and I still stay friends with her. So I was living at a place, and she was going through some hard times, and so I said, hey, do you want to stay here? It's, you don't have to pay anything. Just get yourself on your feet. And I had moved out, but the lease was paid up for about 5 more months. And so I'm like, shoot, I would want somebody to do this for me. She was going through a hard time. I'm like, it's Atlanta. I don't want her out here doing whatever.
Right.
And so I still had some of my clothes there. And so when the lease was up and it was time to move everything out, some things were missing. But the one thing that I really was looking for is these shoes. And I said, have you seen, these shoes? And she was like, I'm like, okay. I'm not even thinking anything of it because we don't dress the same. We do wear the same size shoe, but we don't dress the same. So I'm just like, okay, no big deal.
She definitely stole those shoes.
When she moved into her new place, I came to visit her, and she came downstairs to get me. We were walking into her new place, and I looked down, and there's shoes. And I said, when'd you get those? Because I've never seen her wear those kind of shoes, that brand or anything. And she was like, I got them from the Real. And I was like, oh, okay. We proceeded to go into her place, and shoes are just hanging out everywhere, clothes, it was messy. And she went straight to the back, hid those shoes. And I'm just thinking like, wow, you got everything else hanging out. Why you don't just throw the shoes to the side? But she knew that I would be able to identify them up close if I picked them up.
Yeah.
And my issue was, I just was so shook that I couldn't believe that I was embarrassed for her. I had the secondhand embarrassment, and I kept making excuses like, oh, maybe she's just, scared, or maybe but that wasn't right.
No, it wasn't. She's a thief, and she can't be trusted. Goodbye. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Out of here. No.
And I think that's the time I'm on right now, where it's just like calling it what it is.
It will save you so much time. I don't have time for this.
I'm
a grown woman. Listen, you're a thief. Goodbye.
You're a thief. And we're grown. So it's like, we're stealing, really?
Yeah.
From friends?
From your friend.
And from a friend who just helped you out?
Right. You didn't have to. You could have just asked.
You really could have just asked, because I'm your sister.
All right.
So that's that. I guess those are those fake friendships, those monitoring people who aren't truly on your level.
They're not.
But they want to be there. They want to be around.
They want to. That's why she stole your shoes, because she wants to be you. Honestly, that's witchcraft to me. You gotta go.
Really?
Yes. People covet things that they see every day. So she's been doing nothing but coveting you. Yes.
And me holding on is really holding me back.
It is. When you know what it is and who she is, or whatever the situation is, you are stunting your own growth. Every time you deny yourself of what you know, deny your intuition, it's like you lessen your ability to see through things. That's why you have to trust it and push forward. So it's like what we were talking about earlier, just in regards to, having to set those boundaries and things. You just have to do it. Same thing.
And move on.
Just move on. See it for what it is. Call it out if you want to. Like me, I'm like a slow ghoster. I'll just kind of like, I have to tread lightly with people. You know, I do, because it's like,
What do you mean tread lightly? In the sense of, like, you don't want to just cause a ruckus because you don't know how they're going to, like, react?
No, but because people know what they do. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like,
Got it. Yeah.
I don't. And people are like, yeah, you should. No, I don't. You know what you did.
You know what you did. Why do you think people think that we're always supposed to just talk it out?
Yes, but because it's like you have to be the good person when you were the one wronged. I don't like that.
So
I'm not going to be the bigger person or the good person to tell you what you did. You're an adult. You pay your taxes, so you know right from wrong.
Yeah. Figure it out.
So figure it out. You know why. You know why. And usually people can feel the energy shift. You know what's up.
Yeah.
So I don't have to explain. I'm going to just bow out gracefully. And I've had to do that multiple times, even this year. It's lots of people who I've had to like walk away from. You're not here for me. You're actually going to stunt my growth. And it's sad because at first I didn't realize it, but it's like those moments of clarity that you get and you're like, wow, this person has been a hater the whole time.
The whole damn time.
The whole time. Just sitting here smiling in your face like the whole time.
And it's holding us back when
It's holding us back. And that's scary to me. Like, I'm afraid of people like that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
No, I know, right? Because it's almost like they're moving in a way that to the point where I'm like, am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. They got their own issues. What other people do to you is a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of you. It's they're exposing their own insecurities, their own lack within. And them doing those things to you is just them lashing out to try to find some sort of feel good within themselves. Miserable people, hurt people, hurt people, hurt people.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
You were speaking of just like the energy, this year, there's been a lot of people that have, I guess, been exposed.
Yes.
Exposed themselves to what they really are. And I know that, speaking to my team and speaking to my friends and just in the world, it's really heavy right now.
It's heavy.
It's super
because
heavy.
Because we're going through a transformation.
Now, speak about that, the transformation that you see happening.
Well, for me on a spiritual level, it's just leaving behind the old paradigm and moving towards something new. Right now it's like we're just getting prepared. We're losing things. Things are being revealed. That's why all the evil is being revealed. You have to wash away the old to make new. We're heading towards a golden age. And hopefully, I think we'll be alive to see it. But that's exactly what's happening. So this heavy energy that people are feeling, for one, the vibration on this planet is extremely low right now. So again, that's why I'm always like, preserve yourself. Stay away from things that are sent to steal your energy because, well, there is a lot of energy harvesting going on.
Yeah.
So stay away and do your work. Focus on you so that you can reach the divinity within you, because everything that's going on right now is a distraction. It's meant to keep you low. It's meant to keep you sad and, all these other feelings that you should just be focusing on yourself. You shouldn't be worried about, oh my God, I can't pay my rent or the war or whatever is going on. I don't. I'm sorry that these things are going on, but I'm not going to subscribe to it and give it my energy.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. Because there is clearly an agenda of what the media wants to show us.
Absolutely.
They're showing us as much trauma as they can show us.
The media runs America. Like, wake up. It does. It tells you what to think. When the media changes its perception, so does yours. So is it really your own thoughts, or is it something you're being brainwashed with and programmed to think? Think about it. So again, take things with a grain of salt. Stay aware of what's going on. I stay aware, but I'm not giving it my energy. I'm not out here marching and doing any of that. I'm not going to give it my energy because I know what it's there for. It's not here to help me.
It's not. Right.
No.
Because I feel like as much money is put into showing us what's wrong, how about put the money into repairing?
What's right.
Yeah.
What's good. Things that can help the people. So that's a telltale sign of how you know that it's not anything good for you.
Yeah.
So leave it alone. Stop subscribing to it.
Yeah. There's no way that there's all these resources here on this land and the problems just keep getting worse. The money is stacking up. We have all this technology and all this new age and all this.
Because that's being created for you. That's the reality that's being created for you. That's why you have to deplug from that and create your own reality. Your imagination is how you create your world. The life that I'm living, who I am sitting here, I envisioned all this stuff. And I realized that. I always knew that I would transmute, like I told you when I was 6, out of the rut that I was in to become the woman that I am. And that hasn't been easy. But here I am. And I'm going to deal with whatever comes my way. But I'm always going to be focused on me and those that I love. Everything else don't matter to me. And I'm always going to, be of service because I'm here to be a vessel to be used to inspire, to help. And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Nothing else outside of that I could care less about. Like, for real.
I love that.
Listen, I'm going to keep living my best life. I'm going to keep, listen, the world could be ending, and it is.
Yeah.
Okay, ain't shit I could do about that.
Yeah, I mean.
So why should I have to stay and be miserable when I don't have to be?
Yeah.
Nobody is going to write my reality. I'm not giving you that power. People have to stop giving it power. You control your own destiny. And I know that may sound ridiculous to say. Well, it's easy for you to say. No, it's not, because I had to get myself out of that.
Yeah.
Like, the woman that you see today is not who I was even 5 years ago. So I'm constantly transforming because nobody is going to write my story but me.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. You speak about downloads, for getting downloads, and I hear that, and I have an idea of what I guess is
Okay.
it, or is it? It sounds so deep. Is it something that everyone can receive, or what level do you have to be on to get downloads, and what does that actually mean?
For me, those downloads are just those moments of clarity when
Okay.
everything makes sense. It's like when it hits you and you're like, dang, that makes sense. Or, oh, this. Or it's also guidance just from your higher self. That's it. It's your higher self speaking to you.
And getting to
That's
that,
it.
identifying that, first you have to believe in
You
your
have
higher
to
self.
believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. And again, people ask me, but what you have to realize is spirituality is not something anyone can teach you. It's something you got to discover and study and go on your journey. And you will start to connect the dots about a lot of things and understand yourself. If you read all of these spiritual books, everything that's out there, at the end of the day, I am. It's about you looking within yourself. It's not out there or over there. That's why I don't subscribe to religion, because it's a social construct to keep you limited. Spirituality is limitless. There is no limit because it's a relationship between you and the divine, yourself. I don't have to subscribe to something that keeps my mind limited to have a relationship with God, because it's within me.
It's within you.
And I try to get people to expand their mind and see that, but they don't want to because they're conditioned.
They're conditioned, and they feel more comfort and safety in staying
Yes.
in that space.
A lot of them suffer from cognitive dissonance. And I don't judge people because I used to be there.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff that I'm, talking about and even experiencing, I used to think it was crazy because throughout my life, I've had many people visit me throughout life to try to bring this information, this knowledge to help unlock my third eye so that I could see myself. And I was like, what is this? That's crazy. I just wasn't ready. It happens when you're ready. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, dang, I feel like everyone's not, unfortunately, everyone's just not going to get it.
They're not. And again, I can't do nothing about that because I
Yeah.
can't teach you that. It's not one thing in particular. And yeah, you could do psychedelics and, all of those things. But I wouldn't recommend that because a lot of folks are just not prepared to have that consciousness maybe turned on. It's like the Matrix. People would rather stay in the Matrix because it's comfortable. When you leave it, your whole world changes. Nothing is ever the same. And some people can't handle that.
Yeah.
They can't handle it.
I was talking to my mom about new stuff that I had learned several years ago. Just information about slavery and how the story was taught, and it's not necessarily exactly how it's been taught in these books. And there was people on this, our people were on this land, we weren't just all brought here. And I was talking to her about the systems and all this stuff set up, and she was like, Kayla, she's like, I just don't want to hear that.
It's too much.
And I said, Mom, I'm not telling you to scare you. I'm empowering you.
At that point, you have to stop. You have to stop. I used to be that way with my family and people, and they were looking at me like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? What crack is you smoking? Because when your awareness first, when your consciousness first clicks on, it's like a baby just learning how to walk. You're like, what in the F?
Yeah.
Like all this stuff, and you're just like, I have to tell people.
Yeah.
It's phases you go through with the consciousness. You go through that phase of, I got to tell everybody, even if they don't want to hear it, even if they're calling you crazy. You go through all of that. And then as you continue on, you'll get to a place kind of where I am now with it. Like, I can speak my messages and I can do it and let it be that, and not try to push people to do anything. The best I can do, the best you can do for people like that, here's the book, here's the information. What they do with it is up to them. Plant the seed, let it go. Don't try to force them to see it your way, because she doesn't have the consciousness to see it. She doesn't want to. She's preventing her own self from doing that. And that's her choice.
Yeah, it's her right, it's her choice.
Listen, you can't save nobody but yourself.
So do you sometimes feel like it's I think I heard you speak about just like being in a bubble, like being in your own bubble?
I'm in my own little bubble. Like I do. Like I'm in my own bubble.
And the bubble is, you just have your daily routine, your practices,
everything that's the makings of Sheneka.
What about holidays and stuff? Like, do you participate with the family?
Oh yeah, of course. Like, I love family time. I love my family. And I say this to anybody who's struggling with that, again, like we talked about earlier about forgiveness. You can't choose your family. You just have to love people for who they are. And I'm a family girl. I'm a lover girl anyway. So I enjoy being with my family. And I have a niece, and she's just so amazing. So yeah. So I don't get mad. I don't get angry. I just enjoy it for what it is. And I really do enjoy that time.
And like you said, you're at that stage of consciousness and awareness where you don't need to prove anything.
I don't need to prove anything.
You don't need to push anything on anyone. You can just like laugh and have fun.
I could just be me. And I enjoy my family too, because I can just go there and be myself.
And they're not picking on you?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, because it's like, I hate when I go around. Well, I hate when people ask, oh, when are you going to have kids and do all that stuff? Like, I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you can't tell.
Okay, like, please.
Why
listen.
you trying to bring me over here with you?
Yeah. And I also think people should, and on that topic, I think people should stop asking women that. And not just for me personally, but you just stop asking that. It's not your business. And you also don't know what people could be dealing with. It's just such a crazy question. Because some women may not want to have kids.
Right.
And you just don't know. Stop asking that. It's such a weird thing to ask.
Stop asking women
when are they going to have kids? Stay out my womb, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously. It is offensive. Because I don't get asked that anymore. Everyone's kind of quieted down. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think I finally spoke up for myself in a moment where I was kind of like asked about it at the dinner table, and I just said, I made a joke. I said, my body, my choice.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a joke, and then everyone was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And never again was it asked, because I think it was just like, how ridiculous are you to be asking me, like you said, about my womb in front of people.
Everybody. And
do you really want to know the true tea? Like, let me, you don't want to know. You just are asking because it's like
it's weird to me. I don't like it, and I'm like, who raised y'all for real?
Yeah.
Because I would never ask someone something like that.
Yeah. Spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
I hear the term. I actually use it, and I when I think of spiritual warfare, I think of energy. I think of, like, I'm not a super religious person either, but I definitely know that the divine, the most high source, the creator is here. That's my belief.
Yeah.
And I know I that is, what I'm attached to in a sense.
The spiritual warfare is again like a lot of, because we're all under spiritual attack. I mean, obviously the reason is because they don't want you, the powers that should not be, or whatever you want to call it, the enemies, entities, or whatever, don't want you to reach your divine self. When you do that, you can't be controlled. So that's why there's this constant attack on your mental and your spiritual being. That's why. Keep you exhausted, keep you overworked,
Distracted.
right, like right now, like what's going on in this world. People can barely pay their bills. They've
Yeah.
raised the prices of everything, but are not giving you more money to survive, and people are losing it. And I empathize with that so much. I really do. But the problem is the people in control. And the people have to realize the power that they have. They work for you, not the other way around. And things will change if people wake up. Unfortunately, that's beating a dead horse. So what you have to do is, like I said, stop subscribing to a lot of that and realize like you're in control of your own life. And how you do that is just by realizing what's going on. Once you see what the hell is going on, it cannot affect you anymore. I know that there's heavy spiritual warfare going on. I know that every day we're being attacked with everything, from the food, from the water, from the cell, like everything.
Yeah.
And can I do something about that? No, but I'm aware. So I know how to protect myself from it. I know when there's things that are going on that's trying to harvest my energy and knock me off focus, to get me off track.
Yeah.
And so it's literally just an attack on your divinity.
And it's so crazy. That's so deep, because first you have to believe that you are divine.
You have to believe that.
And I think the religions or the denominations, however, I can't speak too much on it, but the little that I was raised on is that there is a God, there is a supreme being.
There is no man sitting in a sky with no pearly gates. It's within you. It's
saying that look outward.
Outside of you. And that's why I have a problem with
We're made in his
religion,
image, yeah.
because it's teaching you to look for something outside of you. This is why people are still confused and don't know, what the hell.
They're waiting to be saved.
They're waiting to be saved by some white man with blonde hair and blue eyes in the sky. It does not exist.
Yeah.
The God that you're looking for is within you. You do that when you pray, because prayer is essentially meditation. You're literally praying to yourself, to your higher self. You're tapping into the divine, to God, the creator, speaking directly to you. So yes, there's some remnants in there, but overall, it's teaching you to look for divinity outside of yourself. Forever you will be lost if you stay on that path.
That's almost just like looking for validation.
Yes.
Outside of yourself.
Again, and that's backwards. How is that even possible? You're teaching me to worship something outside of myself, when we all know that it's about what's in here. That's how we transform. That's how you change the world. It's like what Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror.
It does. It really does. I think that, why do you think that? I mean, I feel like we know, well, not clearly everyone doesn't know, right? Because it's so hard to speak from a place of knowing when you can't teach someone how to know.
Right.
They have to discover it if they want to.
Right.
And I even watched this movie. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it was based on Hollywood, and it was based on how Hollywood is like basically the news is created in Hollywood.
Yes.
And Hollywood is all an illusion. And there was a guy who was a former Hollywood producer, and he created this documentary, and he even talked about what happens with these movies and these television shows is they create these movies about all these different things that could happen, and we tie it so when it does happen in real life, we're assuming, oh, that just happens in the movies, and
but
we're
it's
not
happening in
realizing
real life.
that
Yes.
the inspiration is real life.
It's called predictive programming. That's exactly what it is.
Predictive programming.
That's exactly what it is. It's programming your mind to accept what's happening. It's just like when the whole, thing rolled out, when we had to wear the mask and things like that. You were already programmed to accept that years before it happened. Think back to Snapchat when they had those little mask filters. You didn't think it was about that, but that's exactly what it's about. And because of the karmic laws, they have to tell you what they're doing. And whether you figure it out or not, that's up to you. So they're telling you what's going on. Whether you want to believe that it's happening or not is up to you. And another reason why they show you is so that you can manifest it. If everybody consciously is thinking, oh my God, this is so horrible, we're all going to die, this is so bad, all you're doing is manifesting that to be what your reality is, be what the reality is, because we're all connected as one consciousness. That's what we don't realize. And so if we're all focused on that one thing, it's going to manifest. And that's why they do it. And so if people realize that, things could change.
But they're actively working on a million different distractions to make sure
Yes,
that
it's
we
so
don't.
many distractions. That's why I say, don't subscribe to that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't.
They even did in that movie. They talked about the Rodney King attack, right? And when the Rodney King attack happened,
They showed you that.
Yeah, they showed us that. Then the police department had a bad rep after that, right? And they were boycotting and rioting and stuff like that. They said Hollywood started, in all of their television shows and movies, they started to rebrand police officers. So in these movies and these television shows, they made the police officer the good guy, and he was there, come to the rescue. And literally, I was just like, wow, like, we don't even know that we are being played with
programmed
by this entertainment.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, they rebranded police.
It's just an attack on the Black community and Black women, Black men and Black women. The whole point is to eliminate the Black masculine man because he's seen as a threat. That's why there's a huge push to feminize the Black masculine man. That's why they show you videos like that of Black men being brutalized and beat. They did that during slavery when they called it buck breaking. The Black men in front of everybody, because they have to, in your mind, destroy the image of him so that you don't respect it. And once you eliminate the masculine men, well, who's there to protect the women and children? Nobody. So then you hypersexualize the women. You make them realize that they're not worthy. You won. There's a whole, the Willie Lynch letter, I think they wrote about that. It's like, come on.
Yeah, once you'll stay a slave in your own mind.
Absolutely. You will stay a slave in your own mind. And that's exactly what happens. So understand that when these things are constantly being shown to you, it's on purpose to destroy the image. I'm telling you, when I travel, and I'm telling you, traveling exposes your mind to so much. And I remember traveling, and we were in Europe actually, and we were sitting at this table, and the people next to us, we were just talking, and they basically said something. It was just like, oh, we were from Atlanta or whatever, and they was like, oh, hip hop, oh, gangs and stuff. But yeah, it's funny, right? But this is what everybody sees about us. Yeah. That's the perception of Black men and Black women, and it's an agenda. So that's why you have to do the opposite. They're not showing us as beautiful feminine beings,
Yeah.
divine beings, because we are.
Yeah, they're showing
They're
us.
skewing our image so that everybody else doesn't respect and honor the black woman, because in the black man, but the black woman is the most disrespected person on this planet.
To the point where we're disrespecting ourselves.
We're disrespecting ourselves. We other women, we subscribe to it and we do it to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've been conditioned to hate who we are.
I'm definitely I'm like, let's go. Like, let's
Right.
ascend, let's transmute, let's transform. And I think that to a lot of people, it can kind of sound just like, damn, this agenda stuff and this warfare
It's a lot.
stuff.
It's a lot.
It's like, we're not speaking on this to be scared. There's nothing to be
There's
scared
no-
of. You should be afraid
right.
if you don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
just being aware, just being open to thinking outside the box can really like transform your life.
Absolutely.
And it's like you said, it's super challenging.
It's challenging and it's not easy, but don't live in fear. Fear keeps your vibration low. Fear does not allow you to transform. So don't live in fear. All of this stuff, being aware, is not for you to be in fear. It's for you to know. Again, when you know
Yeah.
what's attacking you, then you know how to protect yourself from it.
Yeah.
You know how to not subscribe to it. So yes, you should be aware, but ain't nothing you can do about it because this shit is over. Okay?
Right?
Like one of my greats would say, Bobby Hemmett. He's one of the greatest
Yeah, I'm
occult
familiar,
lecturers.
a little bit.
I love him, yeah. Like, it's one of the greatest lecturers we've had in our time, but this shit is over. What you're looking for it's not here. And I know it may sound a little deep, but seriously, you have to start the journey of understanding who you are, because if you don't, you'll just stay stagnant here and you will never find the peace that you're looking for. And one thing that people are always asking me, in regards to everything about my life, what I love the most and all of that, it's because I have peace. I really have peace. And that's something you can't buy. I have all the clothes, the jewelry. Like, you don't buy that.
Yeah.
It's within. It's something you find within. And to me, that is the greatest thing ever, because some people go their whole lives and they don't find that.
Absolutely.
They don't find that.
Thank you so
And
much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So I wish I had more time with you.
I know, because I
have
can
to-
talk for
I
like
know.
hours and hours.
We
Yeah.
got to do a part 2, but I have so much gratitude for you
Thank
for
you.
you being here.
Thank you.
I definitely admire what you do, what you've done for your life, what you're doing for everyone, and I just want you to look in that camera and just kind of like tell people where they can find you.
Okay. Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram. Mostly simply Sheneka is my page. My personal page is A Virgo World. And for all the women out there, if you're looking for a safe space for someone to help you along your journey, to help you transform, you can visit my website, simplysheneka.net, and I look forward to speaking with you.